Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Craps. You know, last week we were in Hollywood. We got to see a couple of our favorite movies, featuring a couple of favorite clips, playing our favorite game of craps. And this week, we're going to go a little bit further out into the Pacific Ocean. In fact, we're headed all the way out to Hawaii, where we're going to meet the Hawaiian Craps Shooting Team. We're going to spend some time with Master Strategist Mel Lum Ho, and we're going to also hear from the man with no fear, Pauly P from the 503. All right, guys. Welcome to the show, and let's quick it off here. We've got Mar from from the Hawaiian Craps Shooters Team, Brian and Chef Dice up here at the top. All of us joining us. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Dave. Hey,
Dave, just want to make sure everybody can hear us. Sorry, we do have a little bit of technical difficulties going on, but I think we're going. We've got a couple of people watching now, and comments are starting to flow. Yep, so down in the lower middle square, we have Mel Lum Ho from Craps Hawaii, and then over in the far right, Pauly P from the 503. All right, guys, let's go ahead and kick it off. I'm going to kick it off with Brian and Chef Dice. Welcome, guys.
How's it? Great to be here.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. All right, so for those of you who don't know, the Hawaiian Craps Shooters YouTube channel is probably one of the fastest growing channels that I've actually seen. He's up over 1,500 subscribers in a very short amount of time. And Brian, why don't you give us a little bit of background about your show and what led you up to coming onto YouTube?
So I just started playing. My daughter went to UNLV, and I just started playing, learning the game of craps, teaching myself, watching some YouTube channels, and going back and forth, trying to learn by trial and error. And I just see a lot of my Hawaii friends, they come back, oh, I lost money again. So after learning the game, I felt like maybe I can share what I experienced and help out our fellow crap shooters in Hawaii as well as on the mainland, and share my experiences so that they can learn from my mistakes. And so I just put out a video, and it just took off from there. Crazy.
Awesome. All right. I think we got a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure if everybody can hear that or not. Can you guys hear it?
A little bit.
Okay. All right, let's go over to Chef Dice. Now, Chef, you've actually been to Vegas pretty recently, and that's when I started to tune into you. But your full-time job is actually you are a chef, right?
Yeah. Yes, Dave. I own multiple restaurants in Hawaii, but again, as you all know, running a restaurant in this COVID-19 times is very stressful. So I'm fortunate enough to, about 3 months in a row, went to Vegas / visit Pauly P. And, that relieves me some stress. And this is not a fun world to be in right now. But, that's the reasoning of why we took up dice and just hanging out with friends.
Yeah. Yeah, Chef, at some point here, we're going to have to type in your Instagram account, because the food that you put out on the pictures of the food that you put out there is just phenomenal. And I got to say, when I go to Hawaii, it is a must see, must go to place. I'm really looking forward to it. All right. And then the third member of the Craps Hawaiian team, or I know I'm saying that wrong. What do you call your team?
Hawaii Craps Shooters.
Hawaii Craps Shooters. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I get it all mixed up. So Mar, you are the third member of the team. And are we missing anybody? I know that when you practice, you guys practice with a few other people.
Yeah, there's a few of us. It's just that time difference wise, I think a lot of them are not able to be on right now. Yeah. But we have quite a bit of us. Normally, probably about 5 to 8 of us practicing it on our usual weekends.
And you guys usually practice over on Brian's table?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brian is very fortunate, him and his family. His family allows him to have a 12-foot table. at his home, and they've been very, very, very hospitable to all of us being over there practicing. Some of us to the later hours of the night. So he's been very hospitable to all of us, hosting us. Spent the entire 2020 COVID times practicing on his table, and not being able to travel off island and to have that luxury of having a casino quality table on island was actually, it helped a little bit with the burn of not being in Vegas.
Yeah. I can say the same thing for my table at home. Is it's been kind of a refuge, a place to escape a little bit and play. So it does help. It helps pass the time until we can actually get back into the real casino. So Brian, I want to come back over to you for a minute and get your thoughts on team play. I've watched some of your videos and how you're talking about it, and team play is a little different. So can you tell us a little bit about your team? How did the team come about, and how do you practice, and what's your objective?
Yeah, so it's just bunch of enthusiasts who love the game of craps and coming together, brainstorming, critiquing everyone's strategy. We look at who made the most money, why they made most money, and having that team and having them practice and sharing their SRRs. It's an advantage for us when we go on the table, because now we know how to bet, and now we know how to instead of with a random roller where you have to take the time to know how the table's rolling. Now with everyone's SRR, and we kind of know everybody's skill level, we know how to bet accordingly and where we can maximize our profits and minimize our loss. So it is advantageous to have great players to play on one table.
Yeah. So, in today's world where we can only have a few people at the table at a time, I can see where that'd be a real advantage. The members, their strengths, their weaknesses, and you know how to bet with them. So I can see where that would be a tremendous advantage.
Dave, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Okay, I can hear you. So, audience, can you hear us all? Let's wait and see if some.
I can hear Brian. I can hear you. I can hear.
Okay, I'm assuming that the audience can hear us. Otherwise, usually they would say different. Let me come back over here. All right, can you hear us now, Brian?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so we might have some real technical difficulties. Let's so Mara, you're going to have to represent the team. It sounds like.
Oh gosh. Okay.
No pressure.
I saw a couple of questions coming through here, and I'm going to come back up here and pull one of them out. Big AZ is asking, what are the travel restrictions these days for Hawaii coming to the mainland?
Right now, there's no travel restrictions for us to leave Hawaii to go to the mainland. There is a travel restriction to come back. The state requires you to take a COVID test before flying to Hawaii. You need to answer a simple health questionnaire online, upload your ID, photo, all that stuff, and you're able to travel to Hawaii and avoid a 14-day quarantine with a negative COVID test.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully with vaccines and whatnot, hopefully that's going to be a little bit easier to travel back and forth before too long. All right, I hear a lot of background noise. Let's head back over and see. Brian, can you hear us now? Because we've got an echo coming, I think, from your side. Okay, I don't think Brian can hear us. They must be watching on YouTube as well. All right, so why don't we go ahead and go over to Mel Lumho. I call Mel one of the master strategists, and I'm going to actually mute one of the other lines here for a second. See if there we go. All right, so I've muted Brian's line. We'll come back to him in a few minutes. Can you hear me okay, Mel?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Now, you and I have known each other for maybe a little bit over a year. And one of the things that attracted to me is some of the strategies that you were putting out there. In fact, some of the earlier strategies, I think you called it take the money and run. And I believe that evolved into an easy 75. And you supplemented that with, oh gosh, I can't remember
Staying
some of the other
alive.
strategies. The staying alive, yes. So tell us about some of your strategies and what do you I think you call it the lab or the school or tell us a little bit about that
In the classroom is what I'm
in
putting
the
out
classroom.
now. Yeah. Well, a long time ago, and I'll take you further back for when I first started playing. There was no YouTube channels or places that you could go and watch any strategies or betting or whatever. And so I used to hang out with my good friend Jay and Mike and some other guys. But I was only a $54 better, 54 across. That was it. Yeah. Um, until I met up with them. And they were betting bigger, yeah? 135, 130 across, press. And so when the points did get hit, I'd collect $14 for my $12 eight, and they'd collect 35 for the $35 eight. So I said something's wrong with this plan, right? So what do? You end up betting the same amount as they do. And luckily, I had my own electrical contracting business. I, was single and everything, so I had the money to play it, but I really didn't even understand what the true payoffs were at that time. And I'm talking way back in the 80s, right? So never really understood anything higher. Once I pressed my bets, my 54 across up to like $60 on a 6 and 8 or $50 on 5 or 9. I really didn't want to press it any higher than that, not only because it was a too high a bet for me, but I didn't even know what it paid off at that time, believe it or not. But as time went on, I was playing with my friend Jay guys, and yeah, you get caught up in this fact that because you're betting bigger amounts and you're pressing, if you lose, there were times we're down $2,000-3,000 in an hour, and that table is not hitting, right? I mean, we laying out the 130, the hard ways for $5 each, pass line, odds bet. It's almost $200 a hand. So if you got 4 or 5 guys in a row that 7'd out, $1,000 was gone. So anyway, we kept playing like that because we also got lucky that when we did catch a good roll, and when we did, even though we're down 3,000, we could recover that because we're playing bigger money, right? But you can win big playing that way, but you're gonna lose more than you win. And so when people talk to me about, oh, they bet big, they win big, I also know that in reality they also lose big, and more
Yeah.
than likely you lose more than you win. So anyway, um, ended up going to Colorado with Jay guys, and over there you play against the cards. I mean, not Colorado, but San Diego, and we went to the Harrows at San Diego, Barona, and places like that. And they play with the cards. And if you go to Ting's channel, some young guys games, he shows that card games because he lives up there in Oregon, and some places where he traveled to, they play with the cards. So it was hard for me because I didn't understand the cards, but I found out that there were more ways to me that a 7 can be made instead of the regular 6 ways a 7 can be made, right? Because you can throw an ace deuce, you flip the cards, ace and deuce is now a 7, right? And then on the hard ways, if you throw a hard 8, they count the 4, the number 4 card twice. And if that's a 6 under that number 4 card, now it's a 12. So they took away a hard way from you, actually. So I told myself that so much 7s are coming so quickly that's when I thought about developing the staying alive. Most times, like if you watch my videos, there were several times I said there's 3 things you can do when the point gets thrown. You either can take the money and same bet, or you can take the money and press your bets up, or you can take the money and depress your bets at the same time. And that's what I have to do. And that's when I said, this is playing staying alive. So I can take the win plus depress my bets down to where I have less exposure if the seven should come. And that cut my hits. Instead of having to take 4 hits or 5 hits to get my money back, I could get my money back in 2 hits.
Yeah.
By taking the win and depressing the number and the sister number at the same time. So that's where we came up with staying alive.
Yeah. So
And the easy side was different.
So did you develop these strategies with your table, or just kind of in your head, just kind of playing around? What was the motivation? I mean, how did you practice it?
Well, the motivation was trying not to lose more money.
Yeah.
But
I knew that answer as it was coming out of my mouth.
Yeah. Well, my table is not a full size table. This table is about 6.5 feet by about 3.5 wide. But I built this table 40 years ago, believe it or not. When I had my electrical contracting business, I built this table because one of the guys working for me, he was an upholstery guy. So that's how I got all this upholstery done. And, anyway, when I got this table, it was only for us to have fun and play together at the office. And then later on, when I met everybody else and came up to Craps Nation and everybody has full length tables, it'd be nice for me to put one in here. I do have the room, but I started with this table, keeping it and updating it, putting the new felt, having new rails and things like that. And I thought I was just going to develop strategies. It wasn't, I'm not going to be teaching throwing the dice and stuff like that. It was just for strategies. And because it was just for strategies, this table was sufficient for me to show strategies. And that's, to me, it's like a chess game for me, right? There is a problem. How do you solve that problem? What is the best way to solve that problem? Do I need to add more money? Or could I break it down like the All Islands? I still play a 130 LO special for 130, but now I'm not covering the 4 and 10, so that's why I went into the All Islands, where I still using the same $35 that's on the 509, but now I can cover the 4 and 10 for $15 each, while leaving the 4 and 9 at 20 each and the 6 and 8 at 30. But by being able to power press in 1 hit, 2 hits, I can have the money back up, right? So it's all about what can you do to get your money right back really quick, and staying in the game. And a lot of times, like I said, if you're betting $12 on a 6 and 8 and that's all you're doing, if you can get 2 hits, take that down and just play your wins, you can stay there 24/7 and play, right? So it's all about getting back your start money, and
so
using what you want to make more money.
We have Chad Blackwood out there in the audience wanting to ask a question. Says, what about playing the any 7 after a few rolls as a hedge, and then you martingale up until it hits? So I'm assuming he's saying martingale the hop in the reds.
The hopping 7, yeah. That's possible. I'm not a dark side player, and I'm not saying that's a dark side strategy, but it's only a 1 roll, right? So every time you roll, and if you don't have all the numbers covered, you're going to lose the hopping 7s. And depends on how much you hop it for, a nickel each, $1 each, whatever you're hopping it for. You need to hop it for the amount that you're going to be betting across your place bets, right? So I'd rather take that money and press my bets up. I don't really care to martingale bets, because it's just a matter of, adding more money on the martingale, adding it up, keep putting it up, doubling up. And, it depends on how high you get, because you can end up losing that and lose more money than what you really had out there. I mean, of course, if you keep adding, sooner or later you're going to hit 1.7. But if that's the case, then why don't we just play a number or play the field and just martingale, martingale, martingale. Sooner or later, you're gonna hit it, right? As long as your bankroll is high enough. So that's why I don't do that. I mean, I don't care to play a hedging type of game either. I might teach it because somebody might want to play it, but that is not actually my way of playing. And a lot of times, if you look at my videos, I do say, do it as I say, not as I do, right? Because I get that Hawaiian blood, right? You know, in Hawaii, we like press. Everything is press. But I just try to teach people the best way to play. I mean, that's how
I heard
feel.
Mar
How I
laughing
feel is
at
the
that.
best way. Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah. Takes over.
All right, so I'm going to try really quick to unmute Brian and gang. Let's see if we have them back. Brian, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Back to
there we go. Okay, much better. All right, let's go back over to Brian and Chef, and let's start with Chef. Do you have a go-to strategy that you like to play?
You know what? I just, believe it or not, I just started about a year. But after this COVID, 3 hours a day from the get-go, well, almost a year ago, every day, 3 hours a day. Going back to your question is, right now, as you know, I always tell the crew that it's a big difference when you're playing the actual game compared to all of us in the garage having fun. And you know what? I lost 1,000, whatever the case may be. The stress level is unbelievable when you're on the table. And I felt it. I felt it a couple of times with Pauly P when he did his Pauly P and Ting, when you guys did your stimulus.
Yeah.
Plan. Unbelievable. I was like a cheerleader, but I had money on the table. But it's ridiculous from having game time and just practicing. But the strategy I use now is a coverall strategy that covers everything on the table. And then basically I take it down one at a time to the point where I'm at basically a profitable area. Then I go from there. 2 hours is my max.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm out. Usually I'm kind of consistent on our winnings. Yeah.
Do you set like a win goal that you want to get out of there after a certain amount, or is just the time?
Time and 20-30% off my buy-in.
Okay.
That's basically the norm I hear from like other craps guys that I really learned from. But again, you got to know when to get out. I've been very consistent. But again, I don't know if you guys noticed on Instagram, I put all my losses and my winnings on there, no matter what. If it's $900, $100 win, $900 loss, whatever the case may be, I have history on my phone where basically I can go back and see last month I did this, what did I do right or wrong, blah, blah, blah. I learn from the mistakes and learn from the winnings as well. And it's nice for like Big AZ is, shout out to you. It's great that he does a lot of his own one-man show roles, because he has a video that he can go back and see how he done in the past and then re-strategize later in the future to grow from that.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, Brian, let's come back over to you and ask you about the same thing. Do you have a favorite or a go-to strategy that maybe you start out with?
Yeah, I've had several strategies. So the more I learn, the more I adapt, and the more I change. Right now, I'm settling on the easy that Mel shared. But my most strategy is to try to get less than 3 hits and try to get your money back and your stay in the game money within 3 hits. With the probability of the 7 coming in 6 rolls, at the 3rd roll, you're at 50% that 7's gonna come. So I try to make my money and my profits within that window. So if strategy takes 4 to 5 hits, I'm probably not doing it. So I'm trying to get everything in that.
Yeah, you just said something that clued me in. After 5 or 6 rolls, or I think it is, you have a percentage. You know that the 7 has an X percent of a chance of coming up.
Right. So the average is, out of 6 rolls, the 7 will show. There's some people that say, the probability is the same on every roll, which is true. I mean, the 7 to come on every roll is about 16%. That's every roll, but you got to look at it as different. You got the roll percentage, the number of rolls per 7 plus not, and then the percentage of a 7 coming out is a totally different one. So I look at it as the two separate, the roll percentages versus the average of the 36 rolls. I hope I'm not confusing anybody.
No, I get what you're saying, and it goes along with something else I heard. We just have a really bad echo. I think I can't tell what's going on there, but I watched a video of yours earlier this morning, and it was I think something titled like the $5 slot machine. And what was impressive about that particular video is that you told the viewers the proper money management style to play that strategy. And you mentioned some financial gurus, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember the names off the top of my head, but
Robert
essentially,
Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Poor Dad.
yes. And I think that the basic message was that you don't buy luxuries with your budget or something to that. I'm paraphrasing it. So you don't play bonus bets on your regular bankroll, on the bankroll you take. I think that was part of your message in that video.
Right. So I don't like to play the prop bets with my bankroll because I'm strictly, my bankroll is for the strategy. Make the money, make your profits, then play whatever you want, because now you're stressed. We call it stress free. If we lose, we lose. But now we're gambling. Actually, I don't like I said in the video, I don't like to gamble when I'm gambling, and that's within that 3 rolls. I'm trying to make my money, make my profit, make my staying alive. So it's serious during that 3 rolls. After that, anything goes. So we'll press it to the moon. Or like Mel says, press it to the security cameras. We play the prop bet. We go crazy after that. But the first 3 rolls is critical in my strategy, and that's why if you get an SRR of 4, you can make a lot of money because now you're stress free after that 4.
Yep. I'm going to go over to the comments for just a minute, pull a few in. I showed this one just a minute. Rudy Belamonte Jr. Hey, Rudy, good to see you out there. The Pineapple Express is the bomb. Yeah, you definitely have some good followers here. Super Mario, what's up, Crap Nations and HCS and Mel. Hey, Super Mario, thanks for watching. And then I've seen several messages from Grant S. out there. Chef Dice is transparent on his winnings and losses in Vegas. And Pa727, keep playing while you're winning. Only quit when you start losing. Don't fight the trend. That's some good advice as well. James Lesko, discipline is key. So let's talk about that for just a minute. And I'm actually going to flip over to Pauly P from the 503 to talk a little bit about discipline. Paul, you there with us?
Hey, Dave. Good evening. How you doing?
Good evening. Yeah. So welcome back to the show. For those of you who don't know, this is actually Paul's second appearance here on Talking Craps, and welcome back to the show, man. I appreciate you coming back.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So when we're talking about discipline and your style of play, tell me what's going on in your mind when you're putting $1,200 to $1,500 out there on the line.
Sure. So, a lot of folks have their own styles of play. Granted, I started off, doing a 76 inside heavy 5 and 9. And of course, you make whatever you make. And if you get a 7, then you have to level up to a second level, which is basically quadrupling your original bet, right? So if you went 76 inside in your first level, your second level, you have to go 390 inside, right, for a 1 hit to get back your 76 plus profit. And then you can do a regression, do whatever it is you need to do to get your money. And if that gets a 7 out, then you have to go to a level 3, which is what we call the stimulus, where you have to go 1,200 inside to get a 1 hit and down. So of course, a 6 and 8 will pay you 351. 5 and 9 will pay you 420. So it's a little bit more stressful because you have to catch up, right? You have to catch up what you lost, and you have to be up at a profit. So I figured, well, if you can get one shot, 1 hit, why not be aggressive? Put out 12 or 1,800 from the come up after your come up roll, right? Go big, and all you need is 1 hit and come down. So now you're starting off the game at a bare minimum of $351. Best case, you hit a 5 or 9, that's $420, and then you take it down, and now you can do whatever it is you want to do. You can go 44 insides, whatever it is that you want to play. But you have to be disciplined with that strategy. Now, naturally, of course, you could roll a 7, but your bankroll has to dictate what you're comfortable in betting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say fear does not exist on this craps table. You're here to gamble. You're also here to make money, right? So I figure cut the nonsense, get in and get out, hit them hard, hit them fast, get in and get out, right? And so we talked earlier about, well, how much money do you want to make when you get to the casino? And what Chef Dice was saying is absolutely correct, is whatever your bankroll is, you want to be hitting at least 30%. So I come in typically sometimes at 900, so I like to make anywhere between 270 and up, right? 380, whatever the case may be. And then I can also come in and put in an additional 1,800 just in case if things go sideways. But whichever you decide to do, you have to be disciplined and follow that strategy from start to finish. You can't deviate, because once you start deviating, bad things happen, right? You start changing die sets that you normally don't use. So your mechanics has to be spot on, and you have to be disciplined with those mechanics.
So the first few times that you were paying those, let's say over $500 on the table.
Yes.
What was that like for you the first few times that you did that? Were you nervous at that point and you just
I
learned
was
to control
nervous. It was scary because I would never, $76 is a lot, at the time I thought was, wow, that's a pretty sizable amount, $76, $10 table. But I'll be honest, after hanging out with King, some young guy's games, I met him through Facebook, and watching his style of play and watching him win consistently. Every time we get to the casino, the guy is walking out with grips of money, And I watch how he plays. His hand is steady. His mechanics is steady. It's spot on each and every time. So, I developed a good friendship with him and actually drove down to his home, and we played on his table, and he was teaching me, and I finally got the nerve to start going bigger. And when we went to Vegas, it came to the point where I even went $2,000 inside because we were doing so well at this point. And of course, I had a few drinks that kind of helped my nerves, but 2,000 inside, I hit the 9. That was $1,400 in 2 rows. And I brought it all down, and I just played the pass line with odds. But I will tell you, to be honest, once you go big, it's no big deal anymore. It's like
you just have to get over that
inside.
Yeah, you just have to get over that initial fear.
Yeah, you get over that initial fear, and mind you, you can get smoked. You can ask Elmer, Chef Dice. We were at LNA, and I went something stupid crazy, and I got smoked.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens.
But
I saw
all
it.
you need is 1 roll. Yeah, Elmer's seen it, right? I was mad as hell.
I know you were mad.
It happens.
But a few drinks after that, my friend.
All right, I'm going to come back over to the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to come back over to the comments and pull some things in and open it up to the group here. Let's see. Discipline is the key. Okay, actually, really quick, I need to address the public. Guys, I know that this is, I don't know the right way to say this, but we need to keep the comments civil. And there are other YouTube channels out there, and we are a bit of a community. And I don't want to use this forum to bash anybody. And I think it's an easy forum to take some cheap shots at some of the other craps channels. So I would appreciate it. And you guys know the comments that I'm talking about. I would appreciate it if you guys kind of kept those comments out of this particular chat. And we're just going to leave it at that. All right, coming back over. So let's pull in some of the other comments. James Lesko, Dave, you were born to be an interviewer. Thank you, James. I appreciate it, man. Let's see here. So skill and luck. He's put some percentages out here. 16.6, 33%, 50, 66, 83. I'm guessing that's the probability of a 7 showing on an average 6 and out. I'm guessing that's what skill is trying to tell us there. Another comment from James Lesko.
What it is.
Yeah. He was in Las Vegas last weekend, had fun, but he's not going to go back until no masks. And now I know most of you guys have been in Vegas in the last, let's say the last 2 months or so. I guess tell us a little bit about what it's like. Marv, why don't we start with you? What was it like with the masks in Vegas?
Well, Hawaii's made mask wearing mandatory. So to even be around in the public here, you have to wear one. And wearing one in Vegas is okay. I mean, for me, it's okay. It's just a matter of your comfort.
Mm-hmm.
I like the disposable ones in Vegas because they're thinner. You can breathe. After a while, it doesn't feel like anything. But if you wear anything more heavy duty, you're gonna be feeling it after a while. And go ahead.
I was going to ask, does it affect your gameplay at all?
Actually, no. We've practiced with it. We usually practice with it on Fridays. So
yeah.
A lot of us got used to wearing it.
Yeah, so you guys have a pretty good, I think you said maybe 6 to 8 people on a Friday night over with Brian, and so several of you are wearing masks during those practices.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Dave,
All right.
the problem with the mask is not wearing the mask, but trying to talk to the dealers through the mask, through the plexiglass, and trying to hear the dealers. That's where the problem is. They can't hear your bets coming out, and you gotta literally scream through all these plexiglass. So that's probably the most problematic thing about wearing a mask. But you know,
we're gonna have to be like blackjack, where we have hand signals. You know, we're gonna have to have hand signals for the dealers.
Right, up, down.
Yeah. All right, we've got Toothpick Ted asking, besides Brian and Paul, any other Hawaii crap shooters students of actually shooting? So I'm going to say, Mar, you're definitely a student of shooting. In fact, let me bring your tagline back up here. I got this, I think it was off of your Instagram. You're a craps player. You're a dice shooter. Yeah. You're in the strategies, parlayer, and you are a dice setter. I mean, that says it all. And I would also say, you guys posted a bunch of live videos from your last trip into Vegas. And I want to say it was close to 40 or so, 46 rolls. What?
43 rolls.
43 rolls.
43 rolls.
And where were you at when you had that monster roll?
We were at the California Hotel.
The Cal. Okay. Awesome. Yes. And it's kind of funny, but take a look up over her right shoulder and check out those shoes. Well, we have evidence that she does actually wear those shoes in the casino. So tell us about those monsters. Why do you wear those things?
Well, I am only 5 feet tall, and most tables I do have that issue with it doesn't give me the correct stance for me to get my arm swing correct. So I've tried different things like other shoes, and when you're in Vegas, you do a lot of walking, and I needed something that was comfortable and that was just ready to go. And I found these, and they're 5 inches in height, and it gives me quite a really good insight. I can actually reach my bets. I can actually throw better. It gives me a better sight line at my target. For the most part, I do wear them at practices on Fridays, and just in Vegas. I only recently got them before our Vegas trip, so
Oh, did you? Okay.
still adjusting.
So you're still
to
breaking them
learning.
in.
Yes.
I got to
Yes.
ask, have you ever played at the D?
Yes, and that was the day I did not bring my shoes. But that table is a high table, and I did not bring these, and I brought my regular shoes, and yeah, it was pretty difficult.
Yeah, I think
my
that table
hand
is one of the
barely fit
tallest
over the edge.
I've ever played at.
Yes.
I
Yes.
actually won't play there anymore. It's too tall. I'm not very tall myself, but I'm probably about the
Borrow
same
my
size
shoes?
as you are with the shoes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, we got James Lesko's out there. He likes Paul's approach. Yeah, Paul's got definitely has a no fear in high discipline. All right, do all the HCS members bet their favorite strategy no matter if they are another crew member shooting, or do they still bet different depending on the person? I know that was kind of a mouthful there, but do you bet your strategies, or do you bet differently based on who's shooting?
Yeah, like anything else, everybody shoots differently at different times. One of the crew members can be on it, one can be off. So it really, if you're off, like at one point we were rolling at the Bellagio, and both me and Elmer were 7 out, PSOs, and we pass the dice, and we tell our crew members that we're not feeling it, we're not feeling it right, so not to bet whatever you usually bet on us. So it's adjusting the environment. It all depends again, but when you get that intel from your crew members, that's where it helps. So that way you're not going to go all out on your biggest strategy. So you should have multiple strategies that you can adjust. If we're not on it, we can tell Mar bet like we're a random person, because we don't know if it's going to come out or if we're going to have that monster roll or not. But if we're on it, we're in the zone. You'll see it. We'll see it. We'll bet accordingly, and we'll press up. For Mars monster roll, a lot of comments of why aren't you guys pressing up? But if our viewers saw our first round, we got pretty bust up in our first round.
Yeah.
So we were kind of shy. But like the monster rolls will come, and it's like you don't know it's a monster until it's passed, So that's why it's really hard to tell. But if the person in our crew knows that they're not feeling it, it's our responsibility to tell everybody like I'm not on it.
Yeah, very nice.
We'll
very
pass
nice.
it at times too. So
Yeah.
So I got to say, going back over to Pauly P, you're getting blamed, Paul. It's your fault that Toothpick Ted has started to go big.
Hey, I mean, like I said, risk is high risk, high reward. But like I was telling a buddy of mine yesterday, I says, yeah, you can start off small and press and press and press. And then the 7 comes and you hardly collected 80 money, and all that money is gone, right? Whereas I put a big chunk out there, but all I need is 1 hit. So I'll collect my 1, bring my money off the table, rack it, and decide to go something small. And if I 7 out, cool. I already made mine, right? So then I can come in on the next go around and go 390 inside. Because actually, right now, that's what I start with. I start off with 390 inside, 2 hits, I'm down, and then I'll go 64 across with a $10 field.
Yeah.
And that's how I play now. And I make my money quicker, I make my money faster, and I'm in and out.
Yep. All right, moving on. We've got the gaming pro, Tony Leo's out there watching. And he's saying, once you have the confidence, the fear goes away. And, that's just so true. Once you have the confidence in anything that you do, the fear goes away. And craps is no different. Let's see here. Just kind of scrolling through here. We love you, Mel Miyagi, and Dave and all the guests.
Thank you.
Senior Move saying the masks are not an issue at all.
That's true. It's the plexiglass.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So I was just trying to read forward here. All right. So while I've got all of you guys from Hawaii here, I do want to ask about something. I saw a news article just a few days ago about craps coming to Hawaii. And I just kind of wanted to hear if you guys had anything about, if you know anything about this. Have you guys heard anything?
Yeah, we've heard.
So I think that your state,
They're still working on it.
Yeah, it's passed some sort of a committee, and it has to go through the state for approval. But I haven't heard anything about when it's expected to go through the state.
Yeah, it's a long process, I'm sure.
It's going to be
Yeah,
a long
so
process.
they're proposing to build a casino on our Hawaiian homelands, just like how the Indian reservations have their casinos on their sovereign lands. So that's what they're proposing now. So it's just in the initial period of getting it proposed and all that. So they voted to have it yet, but it's still a long process to getting it done.
Yeah.
But it'll be on the island of Oahu.
So I'm in the middle of the United States, so I play at the tribal casinos down in Oklahoma quite a bit. So I'm definitely familiar with that long, drawn-out process to get some of those things approved. All right, we've got a couple more questions in here. James Lesko's a common commenter tonight. He needs a pair of those shoes. And then God, Truth, and Forever is asking Marlene, Mar, would you explain your technique from Stick Right? Do you have some sort of strange or different technique?
Actually, it's because most of them who do, I'm right-handed and I stand stick right. So I throw forward. I have I throw forward, not underhand or backswing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
I guess that would be different with mine. I like to compare my throw, my technique, like throwing into at the carnival, the milk can game, where you throw the softball. Yeah, I like to kind of picture that, almost a very small target area and a light toss. Not too much forward spin. A lot of, once it hits, it kind of back spins. That's what I want to achieve with the dice. So that's kind of how I kind of modeled my throwing the dice to the milk can at the carnival.
Nice. All right, let's see here. Brian, I'm going to come back up to you for just a minute. Now, when we first started the show, we talked about you being one of the fastest growing YouTube channels out there. And I know part of the reason behind that. And part of it is your marketing. You are all over Instagram. You're on Facebook. You're putting out videos frequently. So you're putting in the work is what I'm trying to say. But that leads me up to one question. You have recently launched a website where you can purchase the Hawaiian Craps Shooter merchandise. But we have one question from the audience out there. Lou Louie wants to know, where did Mar get those shoes? Are they available on your website?
Maybe we need to start marketing that.
No, yeah. You know what? I found out that the shipping costs 3 times as much as the shoes because of the weight.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I pulled it off the store.
All right, Robert Delgado saying, HCS, thank you guys for your betting strategies. I've been trying them out, and it's been successful. He's going to try the Hawaiian horn next week. So,
all right.
Yep, you've got some people taking your strategies to the bank.
Yeah.
Gene Krupnik, he's going to Kansas City with 8 other shooters on Thursday. Wow, Gene, man, I wish I could make it up there with you. I'm only a couple of hours away from Kansas City, but I'm not going to be able to make it that fast. Scott Booth has a closet full of platform shoes. Now from the 70s.
The one with the fish aquarium, the pimp
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah.
So Don Stanley, he uses Brian's Pineapple Express.
Oh, thanks, Don.
Nice.
Yep. And guys, we are headed up towards the top of the hour. Just kind of wanted to give you guys the parting comments. Anything that you would like for the shooters to know about maybe the what it's like to be Hawaiian and gambling at the Cal? And the reason I say that is, let me back up and give a little bit of story behind that. So when I first started playing this game, let me take that off real quick. When I first started playing this game, I didn't know anything about it, but I had some friends that were telling me when I was in Las Vegas, follow the Hawaiians. And that's the only advice he ever gave me. He just said, follow the Hawaiians. You can't go wrong. So I followed the Hawaiians to the Cal, and I did pretty well. So I think it's the Cal that has a special relationship with Hawaii. And Brian, I think you interviewed the general manager of the Cal. And can you tell us a little bit about, I think it's the incentives that the Cal gives to Hawaii. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Cal, that's mostly their whole clientele. That's what the Boyd casinos cater to. Orleans has a lot of Hawaii residents, the Fremont. But I think the reason why the customers keep coming back is because it's like the ninth island that we call it, Vegas, and they have the aloha spirit. They know it's based on relationships, and with California being, in business for years and years, they have, built so much relationship through generation to generation to generation, and they just have that Hawaii feel, that aloha spirit in the casino that makes the Hawaiians comfortable to come back. And even though we lose money, we still come back because it's fun, right? So
yeah,
we always have fun. It's something that we look forward to because we don't have casinos. And that's why we have so much passion for the game, is because, we know we have something to look forward to. We don't have a casino to drive to. So that's like what we get motivated for. Like, we're going to go Vegas in January. We're going to go Vegas in March. And we're all hyped up, and it's like a kid going to Disneyland, right?
yeah.
Like, we're gonna be. We see the Vegas lights. We're all excited, but that's just how the culture is, and we
That's
just
not
have
just a Hawaii
fun.
thing, man.
Absolutely.
When I fly into Vegas, I get excited when I see all those lights. That's not just a Hawaiian thing.
Absolutely. And I think, Dave, for Hawaiians, I can remember when I was a kid with my parents and my dad, and there's three things that all folks from Hawaii love to do. They love to gamble, they love football, and they love to drink, right? And all
In that
those
order?
three things, well, not necessarily in that order, right? But, right? And so Vegas is a total package. You can gamble,
Yeah.
you can sports bet, and you can drink all you want. And Hawaii guys, that's like a Disneyland for Hawaii guys, right? And the Cal in particular, like what Mr. Money Shot was saying, they've got it right. They cater to the Hawaiian folks from restaurants. You go to the Cal, you can order something in the restaurant as if you were in a local diner in Hawaii. I mean, they got it spot on, from oxtail soup to Portuguese bean soup. You name it, they've got it. And they do a really excellent job in catering to the Islanders. And I think the draw is also the Golden Arms tournament. I'm not sure if that was mentioned. But
Grant,
the Cal
yeah,
also hosts.
Grant just put that out there in the chat.
Yeah, the Golden Arm tournament, and that's the big draw. And that's their meat and potatoes. So they got it right.
Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap us up for today. I really want to give everybody a special shout out: Mar, Brian, Chef Dice, Mel Lumho, and Pauly P from the 503. Guys, thank you very much for spending an hour with us. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure
All right,
being
so
here.
let's talk a little bit about, before we sign off, tell you about what's coming up next. Next week, February 1st, we're going to have David and Alex from Casino Quest and CEG on the show. February 8th is Open Mic Monday. I'm not planning on any guests, so it's going to be me and you guys. We're going to just have an hour of a general chat. And then February 15th, we've got Steve Heavy Haltom and Mark Evangelisto from Axis Power Craps coming on the show. So we've got some big things coming up here in the near future, and it should be a great February. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next Monday.